Welcome to Juhl Media live podcast. Today, my special guests are Nick Rivera,
Hi, everyone.
Sam Branson. How are you?
Great.
Hey, I'm alive. How are you guys?
We're doing fantastic.
Yeah, we have more people join us later. And yeah, so today is a very special day. And I'm a person very sentimental. I remember dates, especially birthdays. Yeah. And today is whose birthday? Nick.
Andrew Yang's birthday.
Yeah,
I can see why here
you
for
should take it off. You can see I'm that's straight. Yeah. So it's Andrew Yan's birthday, and it's just I made this film and about it's called My Yangon Diary, and because I am editing it. I was editing it for 8 months, and then it came out, and then talking to distributors and develop audience. So I feel like in the last 4 years, I'm still living in that period, right? So
Mhm.
how are you doing? Like, are you crazy like I am, or are you just moved down your life? So tell me about Nick. What have you been doing since NGN suspended his campaign, which is in February 11, 2020?
Since February 11th, 2020, that was a very pivotal day for me. It was bittersweet. Andrew Yang suspended his campaign, but I was amongst a lot of people, so I wasn't dealing with that post-campaign grieving process alone. So I really appreciate that. And then 2020 really hit, a month later, and I hunkered down a great deal. Hardly been, out to see people and that sort of thing. Don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I was just not around people like I was before. I'd never had an experience like that, being with so many people, going to different states, going to Iowa and New Hampshire. So it was a really big change, being at home, being on lockdown or quarantine or whatever you want to call it. So that's what I was doing since February 11th of 2020. And to be honest, I haven't really been out too much. I've been working from home. That's the reason why. I work for a leading broadband and mobile company, and I work as a customer experience professional in that role. And, that's what I've been doing. And, I've been also looking into a campaign for an independent candidate, and been attending meetings, and I'm the leader for the state of Connecticut. So we're trying to get an independent candidate on the ballot. His name is Dr. Shiva Ayadure. It's shivaforpresident.com. So that's what I've been doing for the most part. It's pretty basic since February 11th, 2020, to be completely honest. But it's great to be here with you and to commemorate, to go ahead and reminisce and talk about what we're doing. So it's a pleasure to be here with both of you and everyone.
Thank you so much. And you were one of the most active young gun those days, and you canvassed in New York, in Connecticut, and then you went to Iowa and also New Hampshire, and that is a very solid young gun, and it's pretty amazing. Yeah, and you are one of the person also inspired me to make this film. And at the beginning, I was just crazy making videos, and later on put together as a whole. Yeah, thank you so much, Nick. All right, Sam. So what's going on in your life after February 11, 2020?
So, yeah, February 2020 was kind of crazy. I had just moved um, to a new city to accept a job offer at a hospital complex. Um, he withdraws his candidacy because of the pandemic. And then the first day that I'm supposed to be on site and start my training is actually the day that COVID restrictions hit my city. So they have to cut their staff by half. They're not picking up anyone else, new people anymore. So that opportunity disappears. I spent some time pursuing music for a while, and then I realized that industry is not for me. I like making music. I do not like anything else about the music industry. And then I ended up um, in a position where I was volunteering for mental health stuff, and the organization that I did that through started to close its doors. So I got a bunch of our staff on board, and I opened up a new organization so that our service could continue to exist. Been doing that a lot. We do that twice a week, and I'm also working on like, going from just like a grassroots group of people to like a legal entity with paperwork and bylaws. I'm trying to get tax write-off eligibility, trying to get staff trained, trying to get stuff up so we can start building insurances in the future. That's been a really big project. I've also gone back to school to finish my degree, studying counseling neuroscience at George Mason University. Um, I was involved with Yang Gang and Forward Party stuff for maybe like 6 to 8 months, maybe a year even after the presidential. But like I just said, it's been a a real whirlwind since that time, and I just haven't really had the space in my life to dedicate to that passion of mine as much as I'd like to. But hopefully I can get some more time this upcoming semester. I'm coming to the end of a bunch of health problems. Um, and I'm also in the process of quitting nicotine. So hopefully I'll have some more free time and other freedom to get back into the Yang Gang and the Forward Party, because I mean that was just a group of people like I've not found anywhere else. Anytime that I'm around other Yang supporters, it just feels like home. Even if it's not Yang specifically, just Forward Party, just people who are interested in changing our system to open primaries and ranked choice voting and that kind of stuff. It's just, I want to get back to that. It's a nice place.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam. You continue to be my friend even after Yan thing. You came to our film. You both of you came to my Yangon Diary in New York screening, and you hang out with me. Even you guys are much younger than me. I always joke like, "Hey, you're my son, and you're my son." So I have a bunch of sons, like maybe 6 or 7. And
I'm
and
pretty sure I'm young enough to be Nick's son too.
No, 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 no way, no way. You're not that young. So yeah, and I really appreciate our friendship and yannyship, and you were so crazy in Iowa. That's where I met you first. Yeah. And we canvassed together in the same car, and that was just very inspiring to watch you guys how skillful you were. So tell me, both of you, have you been like, have you ever done canvassing before the yen? Like, how do you know? Like, your pocket is full of 100 flyers, and you like the way you talk to voters were very convincing, and were very also friendly and polite. So tell me a little bit, like, how did you learn how to canvassing, Sam?
So for me, it really just comes from a background of like oration. I've done public speaking, I've done spoken word, I've done music. So talking to people has always been just something that I'm interested in doing when there's like a framework around it. I did have a little bit of experience canvassing, but only like 2 weeks. I signed up for I think it was the 2016 Bernie campaign, and where I lived at the time, everyone was already like very decided. There was no one who was undecided in my district. So it was a couple days of just getting yelled at and not even getting to have a conversation with anyone. And I was like, you know what? I'm sure that this work is important somewhere else. I'm sure it's good work, but here I got homework to do. But I also did have a little bit of experience with door to door sales So, not much of anything in particular, just, a background and talking to people and trying to convince people like, hey, I'm doing this thing and I want you to also be on board with it.
Awesome, awesome. And I before I ask Nick about the similar question, I want to show us excerpts of you guys crazily canvas. Now today, because it's Andrew Yan's birthday, I decided to post my Yagan Diary on YouTube. Although the film is on Amazon Prime, also on Tubi. But I think a lot of people are on YouTube, right? YouTube has a lot of audience. So and I think we yeah, I just wanted more people to see the film, to see how the grassroots movement was held, and also some filmmaker even suggested, said this work can be pitched to colleges as a case study, and to see how people work for one candidate. So this section is we are going to Iowa, and here Nick was talking the last sentence before we left.
Ching, I don't know if that video is planned on our stream, honestly.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't
No?
see. Yeah,
Oh,
I
really?
don't see that you're
Okay.
sharing your screen.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't see it on StreamYard or YouTube.
oh, you're not? Oh, you should tell me.
I
I
was,
haven't.
I was just waiting.
Oh,
Yeah, I had to pull up
sorry.
YouTube and check, but I'm not seeing it
Oh,
at all.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Okay, let me try one more time. Sorry, sorry. Okay, share screen, and then going there, and then share. Did you see it now?
I see. I see you sharing your
Yes.
screen now. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Did
on
you see it?
StreamYard. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, did you see okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so
Words.
let me see.
That's what
It
happens when
doesn't
we're
work.
live. These things happen.
Huh?
These things happen when we're live.
We're
Yeah.
live,
Okay,
everybody.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Why don't you just keep talking? So, are you there? Are you there?
Really?
Huh?
Still here.
We're here.
We're
We're
here.
Okay.
here.
We're here with
Okay.
you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna figure that out right now. Just make it better. And how about Nick? You tell us a little bit. Did you have? How did you know how to canvas?
I watched some videos. I went with my enthusiasm. I'm just like, I'm gonna learn this. I have gone door to door to talk to people about things. I have worked in sales, customer service on the phone. So I just approached it in a similar way. It's just, I'm doing this face to face, looking at someone, talking to them, not talking at them, but to them and trying to have a conversation. I think that's how you do canvassing. It's a very personal thing, and it's a way to really show off your candidate. You know, I really love telling people about universal basic income, you know, the freedom dividend and democracy dollars. I was like, these are just exciting things I want to tell you about. And this is the candidate who is who's calling for these things, these policies, you know, so I would point them to the website. So I just talked about my, you know, experience. It's just like, hey, I didn't really get involved in a campaign, a presidential campaign, until this one. And here's why. So I just hope that that excitement was contagious, you know, and I would just go with that mindset to people's doors. And I'm a naturally shy guy. A lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but it's true.
I can't believe.
So to go door to door and
Can't
talk to a
believe.
stranger, that's a big thing for me. It definitely got me out of my comfort zone, and that's why I think canvassing is a gift, because anyone can do it. It
Mm.
just takes having the, you know, the courage and knowing the fact that the person you're talking to is a human being. You know, just
Mhm.
keeping that in mind, and it takes the pressure off and the anxiety off. You don't have to impress anybody. You just tell them about your candidate, and the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. Now you can see it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So going back, I want to see you, Iowa, starting. Okay, so while I'm about to play, we're going to Iowa. For those of people don't understand why we have to go to Iowa, can one of you explain why Iowa and New Hampshire is so important?
Nick, is this something you'd be good at?
Yeah. So Iowa is the first caucus in the country, and that's a very interesting way of voting in a primary. It's where you literally get together, you know, and you back your candidate. And if your candidate doesn't reach a certain percentage, then you have to go with another candidate. And then there are people from one candidate that are going to tell you, hey, come and join us. We're going to caucus together, and we're going to decide on, you know, who's going to win in this first in the nation caucus. And then New Hampshire is the first primary in the nation. So that's the claim to fame for both. And the thing is, whoever wins either one is going to get national attention because it's the first. And New Hampshire has it built into their document, their state laws, that they are the first in the nation. Just say, hey, we're first.
Why is that? Like, who set up this thing? Why New Hampshire is the first primary?
It's just because it's in their laws, apparently, and then everyone agreed to it. So it hasn't really been challenged, except, yeah.
Okay,
So
here we go.
that I'd be marching for basic income, that I'd be tabling, that I'd be canvassing, I would have laughed in your face. But Andrew Yang, I'm convinced.
Sorry.
Has changed, has redefined what is possible in this country. And I'm no longer cynical about the process. And I'm just optimistic for the first time for our political future.
And just imagine if he wins Iowa, what that is going to do to New Hampshire, what effect that is going to have on Nevada. It is just going to be like a multiplier effect. So even if he is going to outperform in New Hampshire and Nevada, if he wins Iowa or he comes in second in Iowa, that means, I mean, he could take all of New Hampshire and he could take Nevada.
I love this music by Adam.
Nobody ever seems to know you well. It's not. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Ching.
That's the musician.
I'm from LA.
Oh yeah.
Got it from his
I mean,
website.
tell me about him. Tell me about him, Adam.
Oh, he is the best thing that's gonna ever happen to you and me. Already has been.
Absolutely right. I feel that this country is like better than like running. He hasn't even won yet.
And my crew, Andrew Yang.
Yay!
Gang, gang.
I'm Jack from Florida. I'm Adam from LA.
Nick from Connecticut.
Jody from Jersey.
It's a sorry salutation, calls for some celebration. I must
So I am moving to Sam was oh, this is very funny, but I'm going to move to Sam was canvassing. It is a 90-minute film you can watch on YouTube now. Oh, this is a very good clip. We arrived in.
There was one.
We arrived. We arrived.
That guy
I
always
arrived.
gave me the spooks. Noah. He was a
Oh, Noah.
nice guy, but he spooked
Yeah.
me out a little bit.
Really? So yeah, he's very handsome. I arrived in Iowa with Nick on January 5th. And this is the night, I believe, January 5th. We all went to the headquarters of Iowa City, and was sort of kind of like a get together, what to do, or get to know each other. And it's one of the most beautiful scene in this film because you can see everyone's coming from everywhere. Yeah. And then we start to know each other.
One encounter that I had today with somebody who was not a voter. He didn't plan to vote. He literally came to the door with a gun. Like, we accidentally knocked on his back door. And for 15 minutes, we talked. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the freedom dividend came up. But that policy was like 2 minutes of a total 15-minute conversation that literally started with the dude holding a gun and ended with him holding a brochure.
Who here has felt like you've yanked so many people back home just by coming here because they saw that you were making the trek?
Whoa.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Someone that I've been talking to about Yang for months and who says like, oh, he's too ahead of our time, or like he's not gonna win, so I'm not even gonna pay attention to him. Like he's been interested, but he's like, I'm never gonna. When I told him I was coming here, he's like, wait, maybe I'll come to Iowa and not.
My name is Tim. I'm from LA. I'm Kyle. I'm from Arizona.
I'm Nick. I'm from Connecticut.
Adam from LA.
I'm Vikram from Seattle. I'm Sam from Virginia.
Kevin, San Francisco.
Might not recognize me, but that's me right there.
Jacob, San Diego.
Christina, Asheville, North Carolina.
Brian, also Asheville, North Carolina.
Lana, Illinois.
Tristan from San Francisco.
Will from Boulder, Colorado.
I'm Brian from Cedar Rapids.
Julian from Miami, Florida.
And Jonah from South Carolina.
I'm Abby from Los Angeles.
I'm Israel from Kentucky. Jose from Eugene, Oregon. Kerry from San Mateo, California.
I'm Nick from Iowa City.
And
Dan from Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York. Hold on.
Rudy, Southern California. San Bernardino County.
Jose from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania.
I'm Kyle from Cincinnati, Ohio.
I'm Peter from Philadelphia.
Did we miss anyone? Great.
Indianapolis.
Sorry.
Wow, this is such a change from.
And this is one of the beautiful scenes of Iowa City. It's like you can't see no one. And here you will see Sam canvassing with Yinjie.
It was so cold that day. I think it was like 4 degrees or something.
3 degrees.
Our first one is 215 North Jupiter.
It is right now 16 degrees.
16.
Cold out here.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, you were shaking the hand warmer.
Okay. I think your time. He said he's not a Trump supporter,
It's very
but not
funny.
a Democrat either.
Oh.
I talked to him, not left, not right,
Forward.
and I talked to him about the concept of data science and efficacy ratings, and he was super excited. I'm not gonna lie, as annoying as he was, he's super cool. He wrote the software on the spacecraft that went to Saturn, and he spent about 30 minutes telling me about how it's real and not a conspiracy.
We
and
thought
talking
you were
about
being
how hard it would be to
captured.
fake it. And it's just like, listen, dude, space is cool, but can we get back to Andrew Yang?
Why does my beard
2020
look
election?
fake? It looks like I just
Because
taped that beard on.
Yeah, you just came from being captured.
I'm here with Ching. She's asked me.
Okay, so yeah, there's so many great scenes. I'm gonna write down, give the number in the YouTube, because I just posted this morning, so I haven't had a chance. So people, either you're listening or watching us, and you can always watch the entire film free on my YouTube channel, and I uploaded in 1080, so it's a pretty decent what do you call decent what is it called 1080 high resolution.
Resolution.
Yeah,
High
resolution.
resolution.
Yeah. Yeah, because I realized I posted excerpts of this film on YouTube, but they are MP4, which means they're 720, and yeah, MOV is higher resolution. Yeah, so let me put this off. So yeah, we're talking about for those of you who just got here, and we are reminiscent 4 years ago. Sounds like 4 years is a long time, but it just passes so quickly. And we actually have kept in touch with a lot of young and I host on my channel, I don't know, at least 2 or 3 each year. We get together talking about the yanning stuff. So I myself feel like I never left this movement, just because I have this film, a baby, I'm always nurturing, and I'm watching it all the time, and so I remember so many things. I remember more things than maybe Nick remembers, right? Just because I'm watching it all the time, so it's a little sickening. It's sickening. So anyway, yeah, so you can see the film also on Amazon, but you have to pay $2. So yeah, and people keep asking me, what is Andrew Yan doing right now? So do you guys know what is he up to, Sam?
From my understanding, he is operating the Forward Party, which is somewhere in between a traditional political party and a super PAC, that will endorse candidates based on their policy alignment rather than their party registration. So you can be a Democrat and run Forward Party. You can be a Republican and run Forward Party. You can be a Forward Party and run Democrat or Republican. And from my understanding, we're kind of laying the groundwork for setting that infrastructure up in terms of we're not going for like the big flashy positions right now. From my understanding, we're trying to lay the groundwork of building that infrastructure. So stuff like local comptroller, school board, zoning district offices, stuff like that. Kind of the boring municipal local stuff that makes an immediate on the ground impact. And we're kind of just building a coalition of people who have similar policy views. And I think what's different about the Forward Party is that we're keeping the spirit of policy orientation rather than following the trend of going based on like power structures. Like so much of today's cultural identity games are not about what do you believe, but they're about who are you around, who do you have to appease to get the things that you need. And Forward Party is just playing the game of like, what's the policy that you like, and if we like it too, then let's work together. So from my understanding, that's kind of what he's been up to.
Yeah, so you guys can check if you ask the question of what is Andrew Yan up to, and you can see this is a website, values, leadership, committees, media. I guess they have videos or photos, and then you can join them. They always need volunteer. You need to find your state, go to your state, and to see if your state Forward Party is on the ballot or not. If it's not, and there's some work to do, you probably need to collect signatures for Andrew or for Forward Party, because it's not easy, I guess, right? To get on to so if I say find your state, I think they have a map, and you can see lead to your state, or yeah, but you can yeah, you type your name and you can find it. I personally, oh, here we go, state, territory. um they are more targeted to purple states. Like New York is very blue, so New York doesn't have a forward party on the ballot yet. But many other states, they're working on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nick, do you have any input about what Andrew Yang is up to?
Yes, I learned recently that he was in Texas and he went to a conference and it had to do with, technology. He's very passionate about doing what needs to be done to make sure that AI doesn't completely, to destroy the middle class. That's basically what he's concerned about. And also the political polarization and the extremes. So that's the reason why Forward Party exists, is to temper that down. So you don't have to have the extremes of each party constantly playing politics. If you have a local movement and local leaders getting together and standing for ranked choice voting and non partisan primaries, you can really build a movement that's going to counter the extremism and the polarization that we have in this country right now. So we don't want to see a second civil war. Just being completely honest, we don't want to go hot. It's ideological. I think is one that's going on in ideological sense right now, but we don't want it to go hot at all. So we really want to calm that down. And I think Forward Party is a very good influence in that regard, in that respect. So I think that's what Andrew Yang is about. He wants a country that's viable, that's functioning, that works, for his children. He's doing this for his children. He's doing this for other Americans. This is patriotic work and it's grunt work. I mean, you're going and you're pounding pavement and you're talking to this one, talking to that one. You're trying to get those to get on the Forward Party bandwagon. And it is happening, but it's going to be a slow process. Yeah. And he wrote the last election too. Of saying the last book.
Yeah, and it is very Andrew Yang and his campaign for 2020 presidential campaign to right now he's talking about forward. It's very consistent. You can see in our film that was 2020 January. We're already talking about not left, not right, and forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like something he just discovered after he left the campaign. And 2020 February 11, he suspended his campaign. Then 2021 January 14th. Why do I remember that? Because 13 is his birthday. January 13th is his birthday. And January 14th, I was invited to go to a park in Upper West Side, New York, and they didn't tell us what and where. There's like, when I went, there was a lot of press there, and then more and more people came. So he announced he's running for New York City mayor. Yeah. And that was 2021. Then by June, he didn't make the high, I guess. He didn't become number one, number two. So he also backed out. And interestingly, on 2021 October the 5th, I believe, if I'm correct, and his book Forward came out. So when I interviewed him in 2022 November, actually he was on this show, and I said, how come, like, are you writing a book while in campaigning for your mayorship. He said, actually, I already had my manuscript to my publisher before I run for New York City mayor. Why am I talking about that? Is because I just think he's very consistent. It's like, this is the book. It was published in 6 month, no, even 4 months after he's done with the mayorship. So it's pretty remarkable. I think he's sticking with his thing. His saying. You can say policy, you can say, log line, or is that a log line or tagline? It's a tagline, not left, not right, but forward. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm waiting for New York State to, become the party, gets onto the ballot, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna thank some people who are joining us, and Shark Fang Tag. How are you? Thank you so much. Always supporting me, supporting this channel. And Dr. J. Dr. J said, what do you see as the most dangerous event in the next 10 months?
Mm,
Do you have
that's a
any
good
prediction?
question.
That's a very
Yeah,
big. Yeah. Oh,
it
next 10
is.
months. Oh, meaning the election 2024, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can
What do
see
you
that.
say?
Oh boy. I, you know me, I'm an
Ooh, I need to get
optimist.
my laptop charger.
I'm an optimist. So I know things aren't looking so good right now in the political landscape, but I think because Forward exists, because there are independent candidates that are gaining traction, there is an appetite for more voices. And I think while there's that exists, there's still hope. I think that the duopoly or uniparty, whatever you want to call it, is really, what's standing in the way. But there are a lot of people, the majority of people are not strictly tied to a political party. They just want things to work. They just want the polarization to end. They want the stalemate in Washington, to end, and so things can be done, and systems can be reformed. Democracy can survive and thrive for this generation and future generations. So I really think that looking forward, there you go, no pun intended, to the next 10 months, that it is possible that things can change, for the better. But at the same time, as was foreshadowed in the book The Last Election, things could definitely go in another direction, a direction we don't want it to go in. So we want to have democracy survive and thrive, and more voices, to be heard, and new ideas to be introduced politically and and socially. So I really think that just to put it mildly, we have a president right now, current president, that's not popular. We're looking in the polls and seeing his approval rate has gone down, tremendously. And the elephant in the room, no pun intended, is Trump. Like, they debate, the Republicans, it was DeSantis and Nikki Haley, right? Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. They were debating amongst themselves. And the way it just looks is like they're just competing to see who's going to be Trump's VP. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't really look like much of a challenge. And the fact that Biden is being shielded from a primary is definitely concerning. That's very undemocratic, in my opinion. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way and thinks that way. If they're going to be challengers to him, then like Marianne Williamson, like Dean Phillips, right? Like, give them the opportunity to debate Biden. It's something that should happen, needs to happen. And the thing is, you have a political machine that is not letting that happen. And I think that, I'm not happy with it, and I don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 months because of it if democracy is thwarted in that way. I don't think we're going to be happy with the results. I don't think any of us will. So I think the most dangerous thing is we get an autocrat, a wannabe dictator as president of the United States.
Scary. Sam, any comments about that question?
I kind of arrive at a very similar final answer to Nick, but much less math to get there. I think that the most dangerous possibility is that nothing happens. I think that we're at a point where our incentive structures are just so perverse, and we have so many different institutions and infrastructures that are just so far removed from are we functional or not, and their only focus is on are we profitable or not. And I think if we just keep heading in that direction with no left turns, I think we're going to end up at that place that Nick was talking about, where a strong democratic leader slides into a strong not democratic leader. And honestly, I see that as much less of a left-right issue, and much more of an economic policy issue, and much more of a just like design flaw kind of issue. During the 2020 presidential, he floated this idea around of trying to remember what it was called. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was some structure to where you had financial incentives for nonprofit activities. So if you could show that you improved the water cleanliness in your area, you'd be able to hire labor for cheaper or something like that, right? And right now we're not doing that. So even if it makes everyone in my community have more money to pay me, that's worse for me than just stealing that money from them and then literally everyone dies, because all I care about is money, right? So I think the most dangerous thing that we could do is continue relying on the incentive structures and the institutional structures without any kind of change or reform.
Excellent. We have some audience comments from Shark FinTech. The first order of business is to stop Trump, Trump. But after that, it's critical to form a blueprint game plan for alleging dams, maybe a few select Republicans with forward and progressive policies. Thank you. Good comment. And I have been listening to Andrew Yan's podcast. He every Monday, 8 a.m. He's very consistent. He what do you call stream his recorded interviews, and he interviews authors, a lot of authors and scientists, and let's see, educators, entrepreneurs, and so very interesting. If you guys have time, you can just turn on, do your morning routine, brush your teeth, comb your hair, eat your cereals, and then listen to Andrew Yang. So I find it very informative and very educational, and he's so good at interviews. He asks right questions, and he's so relaxed, and he seems to know his guests very well, and definitely did research. Either he did it or his staff did it for him. So yeah, that's one things I want to recommend. And have you listened to any of Andrew's podcasts, Sam and Nick?
I have, but not lately, but I have. And, I like this style. I like the way that he asks pointed questions. You can tell that he read the book, before speaking with the author. He has some background, information. And you can tell that he's very, very methodical, but yet, it's conversational. I really like how each episode is structured. It's like, hey, like this is what we're going to talk about right now. It's kind of bullet pointed, and then he focuses on different aspects of a book or of current events. Like, he did like a year in review and he makes predictions, and then sometimes those predictions are right on, and other times they're like, okay, AI is progressing further than I thought it would, and it's in a different area. It's more, not so much the truck driving jobs, even though that is happening. There's law, there's chat GPT, and what it's doing. He didn't expect that would ramp up so quickly, but it is. And look at what happened with the strike, right, with Screen Actors Guild, and them being threatened by AI taking over their jobs and that sort of thing. So I think it's very good that he's talking about the important issues and concerns. Yeah, I didn't watch the one yet about how we set up charities to fail, which is how nonprofits are supposed to be for the betterment of people and for advancing good causes. But if you're trying to run an organization and you have a flat tire, that's going to make it very difficult to get going and moving forward. There's also talking about he interviewed Dean Phillips. I thought that was very interesting. Talking about how the political polarization and the political climate today is conducive to conspiracy theories, and what causes that. So I think he still has his finger on the pulse of what's going on in this country, and I really, appreciate the work that he's doing. And yeah, so I'm gonna tune in more to forward going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to play a little bit of that interview, but it's the computer. I mean, the somehow internet is really slow. It's not coming out. Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, you can see all the interviews he has done, and you could listen to
This week on Forward.
The current generation of leaders
have
got to be replaced with next generation leaders who understand what's coming, who have a different worldview, different competencies, and most of all, are ready to work together to solve problems, stop fighting each other, and start fighting for each other. That's my agenda. I don't understand how it is possible that the Democratic Party would literally suppress millions of Democratic voters. And I think it's not just hypocritical, it's just downright dangerous, downright foolish, and frankly, inexcusable.
So he does a long version, then he also cuts a shorter version.
It is my pleasure to welcome to the podcast three-term member of Congress, former CEO of Talenti Gelato, Democratic presidential candidate, Congressman Dean Phillips, joining us today. Welcome, Dean.
Hey, Andrew. Great to be with you, my friend.
You are beaming in from New Hampshire. Is that right? How are things going?
I'm literally beaming because it is the most amazing, joyful, inspirational, reinvigorating month of my life. It's going great. There's a massive, as you well know, a massive disconnect between Washington and the real world. And people here in the Granite State are amazing, ready for change, completely disenchanted with what they're seeing on both ballots right now. And I'm excited about January 23rd. I think.
Okay, yeah, you can watch yourself. We don't need to
Right.
happily this. And now, am I still here?
Yes.
So I wanted to play an excerpt of myself. Okay, so this is pretty funny. Not funny, but funny, not funny. Okay.
So we'll see if you share it. We're gonna.
You see it?
I don't see anything
Don't
yet.
see it yet.
Not yet.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right, so let's do this one more time and share. Okay, so this is a scene of accident happened. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sorry about that. This is very funny. It's too many funny things.
Okay. As you can say, hi, my name is Ron Daddy, and I'm a volunteer at the Andrew Yang campaign.
Talking about phone banking.
Yes.
Twins.
He wants a yard sign. He wants a
Right.
He's number one. He's gonna call.
Well, the guy I was talking to, he might have been humoring
Everybody,
me.
we have a car
Still,
full
it
of
was fun. It was
canvassers
a fun
here.
moment.
This is one of, I don't know, 50, 100 different cars like this that are going out into the field to pound pavement in Iowa.
He's doing
and
live
we're about to
streaming.
do an afternoon of door
That's
knocking.
Toro.
Hopefully we have some great conversations. I wanted you guys to just get a glimpse of what's going on and ask you to please come get involved. Everybody, anything you want to say?
Gang, gang,
Gang, gang. All right, let's do this. Bye, everybody.
I had an accident.
Yeah, guys, it was scary actually. Right in, you can show them in the middle of the road here. We were going from one house to the next, and then there was like I don't know, a spot, and she went like straight down and hit her head. Like look, I mean, she chipped her tooth, so she hit her head directly on the pavement. I was terrified because like you wouldn't get up for like 5 minutes.
I couldn't move.
I can't believe you're laughing right now. Oh my God.
I'm in the bathroom of Walgreens trying to clean up the mess. Oh yeah, that looks so bad.
That looks like a Japanese soldier. Anyway, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So it was quite experience. And let me close this. Yeah. So what happened? Okay. Yeah. I have some other browser other thing went out. So yeah. So it's Andrew's birthday. Let's come back. And so if he was a candidate, if he is a candidate for 2024, would he be the young people among all these candidates? Anybody is younger than 49 years old? Do you know?
Well, on the
Honestly, I have
Republican
no
side,
clue.
Vivek Ramaswamy is, I would say, is younger. But Andrew Yang, what is he? 49 now? 49?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 49 today.
49
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
He's young. He's young when it comes to politics. So or politicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in Congress and presidents for that matter.
So looking back the whole experience, right? Can you name like one or two truly unforgettable experience for you, Nick?
I just love watching the documentary from, every now and then, My Yang Gang Diary, because it's a great way to just take a trip down memory lane. It's a very raw look at a political movement. Like, it's not even so much about Yang. Yes, Yang is in it, but it has to do with the Yang Gang, who are the supporters and promoters of Andrew Yang's campaign. And they come from all walks of life, from all states, and there was a great deal of enthusiasm for someone with fresh ideas and a fresh approach to the economy, and talking about mental health and freedom from depression and substance abuse, just topics that resonate with people. And that's the reason why he wrote his book, The War on Normal People, because his campaign was about normal people and helping to make life better for them, you know, by making sure that money is put in their hands through universal basic income and unconditional basic income. So, you know, it's something that would have no strings attached to it. And, you know, and other policies that he advocated for, when you look at the political structure, it's like, wow, there was no one really speaking to these issues and these concerns, and Andrew Yang was. So he ran on principle, and also he ran for something. So I felt like I was for someone rather than voting against someone, you know. And I appreciate just all of the YouTube channels, all the content creators that came out of Yang 2020, all of the creativity, you know, bursting at the seams. It was just a wonderful time. You know, and I don't know if we're going to have a time like that again, because that's the thing. He was known as the happy warrior, but he would also talk about a lot of scenarios that are very concerning. And, you know, they would say that he's like a prophet of sorts, you know, talking about AI and talking about how jobs are being displaced, and why we need to have a floor, an economic floor for people. So I just really appreciated his, you know, approach and his frankness, his candidness, and that was very refreshing for someone that's not a politician. I've never, you know, supported someone who wasn't a politician. So I think the wonderful thing about the journey was meeting people. And, you know, I felt like being in this in the movement was, you know, it was therapy for me. I feel that it was a way to build, you know, community. I felt that it was a way to put my energy and my talents toward, you know, something that would be for the better, you know. And that it's just I can't believe it's only been a couple of years, but it feels like it's been much longer. I feel like so much time has passed with the past couple of years. So, you know, I think it was the finest time and the finest year of my life, 2019, to be completely honest. I never thought I would go where I went and did what I did, you know. So I have you to thank, Ching. I have, you know, I see in the comments here, I miss Padgett Kagi. She was very inspirational, and other content creators as well. So I'm glad we all got together and did what we needed to do to say, hey, we're here, and we support Andrew Yang, the non-politician. The opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. So we put it out there.
Yeah, I truly echo what you say, is that there's so many components about, you know, the outcome from this movement. One is it's not just making a film, because making a film was not my goal. I just love capturing events. So everywhere I go, I make a video. And so it was not making a documentary was not my purpose of this whole thing. But I just one thing leads to another. The learning curve, the education, because I have no idea how to volunteer for a campaign, right? Just watching people from younger generation. There is a session I did not put it in. Is that they're making in Long Island? There's a group of young people led by their parents, and they're calling what do you call it? Phone banking. So that was a early experience for me, and I made a video. But the reason I did not put it in a film is because they're minors, so it will be a little bit tricky for me to get permissions again. But education is one, and I had no idea. I I have no idea what Andrew Yang was talking about, and you guys talking about. I didn't know UBI. I did not know robots coming. I did not know a lot of things. I didn't know you're supposed to go to Iowa and go to New Hampshire, right? So I'm just learning all of these, and because where I came from is a communist country. I grew up in China, and there's no election. There's no democracy. So to me, it's just so exciting that, and also the people do not volunteer in political cause. They're going to be arrested. So all of these, and then plus meeting you guys, and it's just like going on and on with like more and more people now. And I just kept interviewing people, kept shooting and shooting. And I remember I met Sam in the first night when we got to Iowa. And yeah, Sam has a story about me with my camera. Would you tell us again? It was beautiful.
Yeah. So, anyone that has followed Ching's content for a while know that she has a very unique skill for making high quality productions on a mobile device. And when we met, it was the beginning of this phase for Ching. And I had brought with me the most expensive camera that I've put my hands on. I got it for the holidays, and then I saved up for a very long time to get a good lens to go with it. I had a Sony Alpha 6000, and I see Ching lugging around the Mark II of the next model of that. It's very new, it's very expensive, it's very hard to learn how to operate. And I saw her take it out and get a couple of shots and then put it away and use her iPhone. And my first thought is I saw this woman come across the room. I hadn't spoken a word to her yet. I didn't know her name. And I saw her put the camera in the bag and take her phone out of her pocket and start shooting on that. And my first thought was, I hate this woman and I hope I never speak to her. And then, of course, she comes right up to me and starts a conversation. And we start talking, and she's a nice person. And eventually I see her content, and my mindset just totally shifts away from, I hate you. What are you doing? You don't know how to, why do you do this? To, I hate the world. Why is a phone as good as a real camera now? And when did that happen? Because when I took a phone and I tried my best, I did not get nothing that looked like this. So yeah, that's kind of the story of what equipment you were using when we met, how that went.
That was the iPhone 11 Pro. So yeah, it's an earlier phone, but iPhone 11 Pro is great. Yeah, thank you so much for the story. I was just like putting my phone, close to people's face and shooting you. And you and Austin from Indiana, the farmer, and he was telling us how to canvas. And then you and him had a conversation. So that section was also in the film. Yeah. So thank you so much. Actually, I have been shooting, use a smartphone seriously since 2017. I went to Women's March in Washington, D.C. The day after Trump was elected. Yeah. So because, yeah, I think the 21st, right? He went into White House on January 20th. And 21st is this huge Women's March. And then, so I went by myself and I slept, my iPhone then is 7. Yeah. So I shot the entire day and made a short video. Then I realized I'm able to make a video out of iPhone. Yeah, that was the first experience. Yeah, I edited on iPhone too. I did with iMovie. So that was great. Anyway, thank you so much, you guys. And the entire my Young Gun Diary, the film, was shot on iPhone 11 Pro. Yeah, and because one of the reasons I was able to get great footage is because I was a outsider, right? A journalist, maybe a self journalist. Then I became Young Gun, right? Slowly. And when I became Young Gun, I am one of you guys. Yeah. And then I was able to be really close to you and to capture. I had access. It was all not planned. It was all organic. So I had some really great conversation, people's comments about things, and also all the incredible activity we had. We fought in the rain, we fought in the snow, right? We yelled, we screaming, and we told jokes, and we cursed. So anyway, Yeah. So, Sam, what is your very memorable moments during the Yen time?
I mean, for me, that whole month is just so incredibly memorable. Memory has always been one of my weak suits. I am not a great memory kind of guy, but I look back on that whole period of time with just such fondness. I mean, you know what Nick said. The people were just amazing. Just the most amount of high quality people in one place that I've ever experienced, and the passion was there. You know, we were all there for something that we really cared about and that we felt was really important, and that we felt we had some kind of personal connection to, and we all felt like we had a purpose. We felt like we were working towards an important goal. Um, it was just such a great time. I look back on so fondly. It's hard to pick out any specific things that jump out. I remember Will. Do you remember Will, the
Yeah.
other guy with the huge beard, the blonde guy?
Right.
Yes.
He
From
was
Boulder, right? Boulder, Colorado. Yeah. Boulder?
yeah,
Oh, Arizona? Oh, I don't know. But anyway, he has.
a transient mountain man.
Mhm.
Go back and forth between living in a tent on the mountains and driving for delivery services to get a couple bucks to buy stuff for his tent. And this was actually one of the like most well-spoken, better educated, could answer the technical questions about policy on the whole team in Iowa City. Just a really unusual dude. That guy is burned in my memory. I remember Pete. Pete is such a good dude. We actually hung out once or twice, very briefly afterwards. I think one of the times I was coming to visit you, Ching, I stopped in New Jersey and said what's up to Peter from Iowa. Um, I remember specifically when you got the caucus card from the gas station employee. That was a moment. Um, Trying to think what else. It was just so jam packed. Like it's hard to even think of a memory because there's just the smile is just overwhelming, you know?
One scene I did not include was I don't need to be very specific. Um, we had a mental health meeting, remember, for breakfast, because
Yes.
I noticed a lot of us um, express they need help. So we say, okay, tomorrow we're gonna have a mental health breakfast. So many people came. The youngins are all nuts. So many people.
I mean, I think everyone's nuts, and I think even people who aren't nuts, if you put them in that situation, like screws are going to be loose that weren't loose before. I mean, you're in a different part of the country. You're not around anyone you do know. You're surrounded by people you don't know. You don't have your routine. You don't have your job. You don't have financial confidence. You know, you got to still pay for food while you're there, even if they took care of your lodging. You still got to pay for gas and bills and phone and stuff. So I mean, I think it was an important time for mental health solidarity to be there. You know, it's not like we got as someone whose field is in mental health and like this is what I do for a living. Like it was just some people getting together and having a little chat. None of us we're really going through it. None of us. I mean, people. I think someone cried briefly, if I remember correctly, but it wasn't like people going through all their symptoms and like, oh, can we toggle people's medication or anything like that. It was literally just like, hey guys, it's really stressful being out here, and sometimes I feel sad. And then we were all like, oh my god, me too, and just that camaraderie and that relation and knowing you're not alone.
Mhm.
It just makes it so much easier to get through these difficult times.
Right. We were together for one goal is to volunteer for the campaign. And then in the other hand, like you said, we all came from different locations. We don't really know each other that well. So there's actually a plus side in that sense is that we can share some of our vulnerability, right? Because we are not colleagues to each other. We have less threat of showing people we need help. So that was really beautiful. And do you remember we had one or two people they are actually mental health specialist, and you're one
Right.
of them. And there's another guy from Colorado or something, and he's a
The
therapist.
pastor guy?
His name was
You
Nick,
remember
right?
that guy?
His
Nick?
name Nick. Was he from Texas? I think.
Texas. Yeah, he was wearing red shirt. I still remember the color. I think he was wearing a red, So that was really nice. And there's so many great memories, and just yeah, I
Do you
wanted
remember
to.
Jordan?
Yes.
I forgot about that until now. Oh
I'm
my
gonna put
gosh, so much
Jordan.
drama.
Oh yeah. By the way, we have a My Young Gun Diary Instagram. Okay, you guys find us Instagram. So before, about 4 weeks ago, I just post things related to movie, big picture, like laurels of the of the film, and then I realized I have so many pictures of individual young. Even if I don't have, I can take a picture out of our movie, like a what do you call screenshot. So I started portray individual young. Yeah, so you can go there. And next person I am putting on is Jordan. That's why I interrupt you, dear.
Mm.
So tell us, Jordan. Yeah. Do you know anything?
Yeah, what I remember is that
She's from
she
Michigan.
seemed pretty chill at first, and then you find out that she was very young to be there. And
17.
then you find out that it was her first time spending the night not at home. She'd never even had like a sleepover before. And then I remember that something happened and I wasn't there for it. And then I remember not seeing her a second time. And I just remember being like, I hope she's okay. I hope she's doing well. She was good-hearted, but I couldn't imagine the first time I spend the night not in my bed is across the country in a room full of strangers. What a story she has to bring back home.
Wow.
And I remember actually after the Yan movement was over, she was we were friends on Facebook, and I think one time she contacted me and we had a phone conversation, and she was like asked me what to do career wise, and she is between making art or doing something else, so I gave her a little bit advice. And then very recently, like I would say a year ago, I saw her Facebook is posting very fashionable clothes. Do you remember that?
I
She
do.
she was wearing makeup. Yeah,
Yeah.
before that, she looks very, very down to earth. Like, I'm not saying makeup is not good, but she's like all of a sudden changed the whole personality and looks like kind of a rebellious, right? With really heavy makeup, black lipsticks, stuff like that. So yeah, um I miss her, and she's in the film. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember her
Yeah.
being very sweet, very talented. She loved to
Yeah.
draw.
Yeah.
And, I didn't really know her, that well, but from what the brief time I had to spend with her, to see her, meet her, I thought, wow, only a movement like this is bringing people together like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From all walks of life and ages and
Yeah.
talents and gifts, and we all have we all brought everything, put it all out there on the table. Many times I would get stressed out because I would be,
Yeah.
I really want to do this well. I really want to help Andrew win here in Iowa and in New Hampshire. What if I screw
Yeah.
this up? And I realized, it's not all about me. It's about the Yang Gang. It's about the fact that there is a movement that exists that wants to see this country get better and advance. And it's not all on me. I'm not alone in this. There are
Yeah.
others that really want the same thing and share a similar vision, one that's optimistic and hopeful for the
Yeah.
futures.
Yeah. Yeah. Very well said. And you can see this right now,
Yes.
the video. I was just looking for one very quick shot about Jordan. She drew a photo of Andrew Yang. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah. It was right before this. It was right before my role.
Oh. You're good.
You're close. You're close.
I was terrified because like he wouldn't get up for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're
Are you
almost
sure?
there. It's very brief,
sure?
you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You can use the keyboard too. Go 5 seconds at a time.
Oh.
Yeah, that helps too.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Very brief. The reason we're talking about Jordan, I'm not gonna get too detailed about it, but she passed. Yeah.
Mhm.
She passed. You know that, right, Sam?
I did not.
Oh, you did not know. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. I thought you knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
trying to find the oh yeah. I want to show you this. Okay, so this is pretty funny. Okay, go.
All the way. We're going all the way in Iowa. We're going from place to place. We're jumping around. When I met Andrew Yang in Nashville, I told him I'm going to Iowa. And Andrew said, well, I'll follow you. We're following you. We're following you, Andrew, on your birthday.
I want you guys to be a part of it. Sing it loud and proud in your home or wherever you are, because that energy is felt.
Wow. Wow, this is enormous. This is incredible. To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Andrew. Happy birthday to you. That's your job in 21 days. It is your job to move this country, not left, not right, but forward.
Yeah. Anyway, this is one of the really wonderful thing. This is in Des Moines, Iowa, and in a college, right? And called Drew University, right?
That was Drake University.
Drake? Oh, not Drew. Drake. Okay.
Yeah, Drake University. I remember that day. I was passing out cards, trying to invite people to come to this town hall, and some people took it, some people didn't. I was near a gas station, so again, out of my comfort zone. Going up to strangers like, "Hey, presidential candidate speaking right across the street, so come check it out." And it was his birthday too, so I wanted to at least get a couple of people to go, for his birthday, which I think was, momentous occasion. I won't forget it. I really enjoyed being there, and with a whole bunch of Yang gang. It was a great time.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, let's talk about New Hampshire before we finish. Now, after we went to Iowa, and I didn't stay for the Yam month because we said we're gonna be there for Yam week. So after Yam week is almost done, the campaign called us, say, "Can you stay for Yam month or longer?" So both me and many people, including Nick, we stayed for one more week, and some people like Adam stayed for a whole month. So I took everyone was gonna stay and took us to a hot pot, Chinese hot pot. Believe now, there's a restaurant near our hotel in Iowa City has nice Chinese food and hot pot. So yeah, and what I'm trying to say is after 2 weeks of in Iowa, we left Iowa, but there's still continue campaigning because the caucus is on February the 3rd. So I felt a little guilty not staying for a whole month. I need to come back, take care of some business. So then very shortly after about 4 or 5 days, I drove to New Hampshire. I thought New Hampshire is closer to New York, right? I just go there, drive there, and then stay for 2 nights and then come back, And who knew when I drove there and I was led to Jack Chan's house. In his house, he hosts many young men. Some of them are they were campaign workers, so Jack provided a place for everyone to stay. So Jack gave me a small studio like his office, and then he put he actually put me on a dog mattress. I didn't even know until later. Told me. I was wondering why the dog always come to my room, like it's a huge black dog. So yeah, so even and that mattress is so comfortable, of course, we put the new sheets on it, and so since I have my own room, and I decided I'm gonna stay here until the primary. So I stayed in Jack's house for many weeks. And yeah, so that was a very, very great experience. And Jack was so generous and provide food for us and, lodging and sometimes drive young gun around. Yeah. So what is your experience, Nick, about Jack? And you joined us later.
I did. I wasn't there immediately, but I got there better late than never. I was there. I got there. Oh, Jack Chen was so hospitable. He and Laura, they really took us in. They were like parents. We were like or like camp counselors or whatever. They were shepherding us around. Basically, they were fantastic. Really appreciated them, and we got to go to do canvassing and in the area in Bedford there. We went to, was it Manchester, New Hampshire? What was the other place? It was it
Oh,
Plymouth?
we went to this bar and with music place.
Yes.
What is it?
Oh, I don't
I
remember the name of the place, but I remember
Yeah.
we spoke with the musician
Yeah.
there who was leaning towards Klobuchar at the time, Biden or Klobuchar. And yeah, Klobuchar was pretty popular there in New Hampshire. I remember when we were, canvassing. I there's different parts, to New Hampshire. So there are parts that are more like a city, more that are rural. There are points where it snowed and it was icy, so you had to be really careful. The ground was treacherous at times. So
Yeah.
it really was, a raw experience. Like, you're it's a mind over matter many times,
Yeah.
in the cold
And
and also in
can
weather
you
and
see the video?
yeah, I can
Can
see
you
the video. Yeah.
so I
I
just
just
play a little bit. This is a Jack Chan and a local. His name is Sean, right? And they're making signs.
So I was trying to pay him. He said, "No, Jack, put that to
That's Jack's
Andrew
voice.
Yang's donation." That's when I was like, "Okay, donate." So he helped me. We
Jack is
hacked
on the
away
left.
at the trees and put those up. It was very exciting. I can't sleep at night. I almost want to wake up and say, "There's got to be more I can do."
so passionate, absolutely inspiring.
He went to canvas and he can't walk very well. He has some problems with his back.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Oh, definitely intense.
Yeah.
Norman is like, "You get off my fucking property. You have no right being on my fucking property. You Chinese people go back to fucking China."
God, that's terrible.
Those signs on the road, so they made. Anyway, we made the Chinese food. That's the Chinese New Year's Eve.
Today is Chinese New Year.
So yeah, Jack's one of the very hardcore young gun. Yeah, so it's amazing. Yeah, how
So
these.
kind and good humored. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like just he went through a tongue lashing right there, but he could talk about it He could smile. So it's just that undying optimism that he displayed. It was contagious. You know, I really enjoyed being in his presence and spending time with him and getting to talk to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And so many people we did not mention. We just like the show is gonna go on forever, and you have to watch this film. And we have Henry Juhl as an African American young man, and whose music he's singing. He's a singer songwriter. His singing at the beginning of the film is kind of like an R&B. And of course, Adam's music was used, 2 songs. And there's so many wonderful people. Joy, what's her last name? She's from New Jersey. She was a classmate with Andrew Yang in the Bronx University. Joy Lo. Sorry, Joy Lo. Yeah. And Yunjie is from New York, and he and me and Nick, we 3 often canvas together in one car. And Yunjie is also incredible hardcore, and he, after Andrew Yang dropped out from the presidential race, Yunjie was involved in the New York mayorship campaign, and to this day, Yunjie is still involved with forward party activities. So, anyway, what do you think about forward? Have we talked about the ASM? Do you think it's possible that a third small party will be eventually on the ballot of the national election?
So I think if we went with the traditional party structure, I think it would be a hard no. I think we've seen that fail many times, and I don't think we have anything significantly different from what those people had. But we're going somewhere between a traditional political party and a super PAC, which means that if you're aligned with our policies, like you and me believe in the same thing, we can give you funding and publicity and infrastructure support without you running as a forward party candidate. You can run as Democrat and still get forward party backing. You can run as Republican and still get forward party backing. And I think with that structure, I think we actually do have a chance of the third party becoming a viable option, because instead of having to decide between Democrat, Republican, or third party, you can just decide between Democrat or Republican, and then we can give them extra support that they wouldn't normally have. And then the third party only really comes into places where there's uncontested elections. I think running people with our identification and in uncontested regions is kind of a mixed bag. I think there's pros to that and cons to that. But I think just avoiding what happened with the Green Party or the Libertarian Party, where it's like, we're going to isolate ourselves, we're going to split the vote, we're going to spoiler effect, and we're going to make sure that people don't vote for us if they were being targeted by the other large parts of the political machinery. I think by avoiding that, we give ourselves a real fighting chance.
Thank you. Yeah, so well said. All right, so we have been together for 1 hour and a half almost. And anything else you want to add on, Nick and Sam?
It was great seeing you guys. I'm sorry that I'm very distracted. I feel very not present right now. But it was really great to see you guys.
No, you
Absolutely.
speak so well. You speak
Yes.
so well. Yeah,
Thank
you
you
should
so
be a
much.
counselor. You are a counselor.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
You should be my shrink. Yeah. Anything
I'll
you
see
want to
you
add, Nick?
Mondays and Thursdays going forward.
Yeah. I see you.
Well, I
Yeah.
did want to say this about Forward. I know that it has a great deal of resources now because of the merger of SAM, that's Serve America Movement, and RAM, which is I'm trying to remember. Wow, Sam and RAM, right? That's I'm trying to remember what it is. The Serve America Party, and then there's another party. They merged. There was a merger that took place. So that means that Forward has a great deal of resources as far as the super PAC goes and being able to give support to local candidates. Like there was someone that ran in Connecticut in Stonington who did win the running as a Forward candidate. So it is possible, and it's happening in other parts of the country as well. And I think that's going to continue to grow. I'm trying to remember what it's going to rack my brain now what the RAM stands for.
That's
Anyway,
okay.
Renew
Yeah.
America Movement. Yes, someone put it in there in the chat. Thank you.
Oh, the other was the Renew America movement. Yeah.
Renew America Movement. Yeah. And then Sam
Thank
is the
you.
Serve America
Sakati.
Movement, right? Yeah.
Sakati. Thank you. Yeah. So
Thank
we've
you.
been here for an hour and a half, and I want to thank you, Nick and Sam, to be with us. Lacey was going to come on, and then she has some other things come up. And yeah, thank you so much for our audience. Sakati, want to see more? We have Dr. Setel. I wish I know your real name. They all have these funny names. Shark Fin Tech, I don't know. Here's Mark. And then yeah, and let's see, Sam is here and Shark. I just wanted to name all of you. Thank you for being with us. Nice to see Lewis. Thank you so much. And Dr. J, thank you. And nice questions. So yeah, keep I guess we need to keep our eyes open, keep our ears open, and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, volunteer for your local cause, volunteer for things you believe and things you are curious about, even. Yeah. So, because you never know, like we were all volunteer for Andrew Yan's campaign, and we gain so much out of this whole experience. I do, I'm sure you Sam and Nick also. So I made so many friends, including two of you. So yeah, it's been a great ride, and I don't know if I ever would do this again, but we'll see. Yeah. Okay, great. We're going to close this, right? And have a great evening or morning or noon whenever you are listening to us. And yeah, thank you so much and Happy New Year still. Okay. All right. We're going to, yeah, end this, broadcast. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys. See you later,
Bye.
Ching. Good to see you,
Bye.
Nick.
See you, Ching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.